nifty functionality. And then you have 8 zones on board in here. Of course, keypad, expander, bus in here, also AUX connectors and outputs on the left side. And on the end of the left side, you have AC connectors. This is to be able to connect transformer. Yeah. A little bit higher, you have battery connector. So there you connect a battery cable is always with the panel, so it shouldn't be any problem. Also, if you are using bigger batteries with not with different connectors, then you can. There is also adapter for it, so it shouldn't be any problem. And of course, on the left side, because this is a Perfecta WRL, so wireless communication, there is a 433 MHz wireless module on the left side. As we talked yesterday, everything is depending on what type of order you have, or depending on the country, to be honest. You can find this Perfecta in kits or separately with the box, etc. So depending how you will find it. But normally, box is always plastic, so there is no problem with the radio communication. Alrighty, so if this is covered, let's go to the best part. Alrighty, so we have Perfecta Soft. Perfecta Soft is the software for the configuration of the panel. As you see in here, you have a few different types of Perfecta, but right now I will try to connect to one of the panels. So I will try to connect. This is a fresh panel, especially restarted for you guys. So I just need to press a password 12345 as the service password, and then I need to choose what type of Perfecta I'm connecting to. I'm connecting with Perfecta 32WRL, and then in options on the right top corner, in the connection, I'm choosing COM port. This is very important because every single time Windows could assign a USB RS cable to different COM port. How to find it, where it is? On the Windows icon, press right button, go to device manager. In my case, it's in Polish, and find COM and LPT ports, something like this, and you will see USB serial ports. And then you know that it's COM3. So right button, device manager, and you're looking for COM and LPT. So if we know already what COM port we are connected to, we just choose one of them, and we are ready to go. If the panel is clear, you don't need to put any panel key. You just press OK and press this icon in here to connect. Okay, I connected properly. 1 second. As always, nothing will go as easy as possible on the webinars. Okay. Give me 1 second. My cable doesn't see panel. Let's give him one more try. Enough. Alrighty. Socket wasn't put inside properly. Sorry. I tried to do it fast, and yeah. So connection with the new panel, control panel, established Perfecta 32WR, read data. I will always say yes, because then you can read all the information. It's clear panel, so the information in the panel and in Perfecta software should be exactly the same, because it's the default settings. But nevertheless, I always try to refresh this information from the panel if something is different. Alrighty, about Perfecta Soft. In the top, we have information about what type of Perfecta we are connected to. So in this case, 32 WRL, version of the firmware, date, and the language. Please acknowledge that I'm connected to Polish version of panel, and I'm using English version of Perfecta soft. So it doesn't matter if you, for example, install it abroad of your country or with a different language and you still prefer your language over your customer language. It doesn't matter, you can use and you can still connect, so it shouldn't be any problem with it. Next part, a little bit on the right side, we have icons about the status of the system. So right now in the service mode. So you have all the information in here. We have types of troubles from the panel. So right now we have no clock, no battery, and the panel was restarted with the M information like memory. So it's just information for you. It's not a big problem in this case. We have information about the SIM card and signal strength in here. A little later on, if we configure SIM card, I will be able to show you a little more information in there. Then you have time and date of the panel. As you see, the date is wrong. So if I press this icon, I just set RTC, so I set clock from PC. So I don't need to put all the information there. And you will see that right now, clock trouble right now is only in the memory, so problem solved. Then information about the COM port, downloading information from panel to software, and uploading. So write data to panel. Two icons, very important. Perfecta Soft doesn't support the trying to receive information what is different in the panel and in the software and try to compare it and tell you like in Deload X. So in Integra panel, in this case, you have just download or read and write to panel. Okay. So there, next icon is the information and state of the inputs, partitions, and zones. So partitions, zone, output state, all the status of the zones, etc. On the bottom, also you have information about the RF, about it a little later on. And of course, on the right side, options like open, save, export, convert, if you want to change the panel, but still have the same configuration, connection configuration, about a license agreement. So simple information. On the left side, you have a tree with all the information and configuration places. And as the configuration go, we will go from top to the bottom, step by step, so you will have all the information about what to do. And when I try to program Perfecta from the scratch, so clean panel, I always try to go step by step from the top to the bottom. Then I'm sure that everything works fine, and I know that it goes very, very without any problems. I don't miss any options. So in the project name, I can change it to anything else like webinar Perfecta. And if I press enter or change the screen, I will have question changing the name of the security system. Name, change it from the new to webinar Perfecta, change name, save as new, cancel. What this give you? If you create a template of your configuration as your company, because for example you have 40 exactly or very close to each other configuration, or to be honest, in most cases every panel will be very, very similar. You will just change a few things. Then you can use a pre-configured template that later on you will just change name, save as new, save as new, save as new, and then you have new configuration all the time. So this could give you a little more possibilities and speed up your installation. Okay, guys, I see on my preview that I have a little bit of shutter on the screen. Is it? Do you have everything is fine? because in my case I see a shutter in the camera. So yeah, okay, good. So it's only on my PC, so fine. Okay, so I will use a change name, but of course, if you are using as a template, go to save as new, and then save as new, and you will have a new configuration. Change name. I can set an owner, so name and name of my user, or put an address, telephone owner, and information about the SIM cards. This all information in here are not inside the panel, they are only in Perfecta soft. So it shouldn't be any problem. This is just an information that if you want to have a little more description of the installation. That's all, nothing else. It's not stored in the panel, so if you, for example, don't save it from Perfecta soft, you will lose it. Okay, so on the bottom you have again panel type, IME, and ID. This ID is will show up because normally it's FFFFF or nothing, depending on the version. But if you connect with the SATEL server, this number will change for the number that will be assigned from SATEL server, and then you can use it as for the mobile application, etc., to connect via SATEL server. And of course, button restore manufacturer settings. So if you press this, a few seconds later, you will have clean panel. Quite simple. About the hardware, because before we start configuring how it should work, we need to you need to set inside Perfecta that she knows, or it knows, what devices are connected to it. So if we go to mainboard, we have all the configuration as the default configuration inside the panel, like type of clock correction, times, arming. This is also quite important, and few other options that doesn't be in any other places, and of course time synchronization. So, and the very important button, detect connected modules. So if as you see in here, I have a list of keypads. Right now I don't have any. If I press this button, panel will try to find out what is connected to expander bus, to bus, and read information that there is one module there. So read data from panel. Of course, if I had more keypads or more INTE or any other expanders, then it showed up in here. So right now, my panel found out that there is connected keypad on address 1. Quite simple quest, quite fast, and then you know that you connected everything in there. So detect connected modules. And to be honest, default configuration is very nice. What I would advise to configure it additionally, especially if you are using a GSM SIM card, I will use GSM network, because this is quite precise clock for the GSM networks, and it will be updated automatically, so you don't need to remember, you don't need to do anything else. You just check GSM network and you're happy to go. If you install grade 2, so there is a requirement for the installation with the grade 2 compatibility, you need to mark this option, grade 2. Two things about grade 2 and in general grade. Grades they said how the system should work, but also what are the requirements from the side of devices that you are connecting. So there is 100 something pages. I don't remember exactly how many pages, but if someone of you guys know how many of them is, write it down. It will be happy for me to know. I'll be quite happy about it. So in there you have 100 something pages of the information how the system should work, what the requirements are, and from the side of the programmation, but also from the side of the manufacturer. So every single device that we said that is graded 2, we take responsibility as the producer that is grade 2 compatible. Quite simple. So you as the installer, you are not responsible for this part. We are. Second part is the configuration. In general, this is your responsibility, but we help you to solve this issue, and read through all the pages by just marking this option. If you mark this option and save it panel, all options that will contradict grade 2 in this case, you won't be able to change them. So in general, you are happy to, so you are on the safe side. But please remember that if you want to install in the grade 2, I would advise to read it at least once before sleep. It helps with the sleeping problems quite well, just in case if you wanted to know something more. Also, please bear in mind that if I change something in the configuration, it marks with the reddish, pinkish, depending on the screen, color around it. It means that it's not saved changes in the Perfecta. So this configuration, what I changed, is only in the Perfecta soft. If I press button write to panel, I will have it will ask me about the new key because I need to design some key in here, but I will change it to something easier. And then after saving, you will see GSM network grades 2 already are white, so it means that this information is saved in panel, and we are ready to go. Okay, so let's go to next option is GSM phone. We will be using one of our Polish SIM cards. It looks like this. It's very, very small. So first of all, what I need to do is mark SIM. I'm not using any pin, so this should be clean. If you want to use some kind of pin, like something like this, then you need to write it down. I'm not using any, so it should be empty. I know the GPRS APN for my provider is it's internet. User and password is blank, and I'm using, in general, I'm using Google. Sorry. Okay. 1 second. Okay. Okay. I'm using Google DNS server, so it's easier for me to. It's just as easy as possible. So for AIDS, there are even easier ones, but we know for sure that this one works. And rest of the configuration I don't need to do. This is the requirements from my provider. How to find it? There are two most common ways. One of them, I will just hide a little bit this. I hope I have also CSL card with me, SIM card. This is world card, as you see in here. Yeah. So I will also, yeah, something like this. You will see on this sticker all the information that is required for you to fill in this place to be able to use GPRS communication. But of course, if you want, you can always go to website. And the easiest way, the easiest possible way is just go to, in my case, name is Plush GPRS APN. And on the first few of the of the first few, you will see some kind of information, and I can go in here and look at them and find them in here. I see already where it was here. like first 4, first 5, and you can find them in here. What to do? Quite simple, quite easy. In different countries works as well, because there is a lot of people who will, a lot of websites that will cover it and try to fit all the information for you to find it very fast. But of course, if you're using a template and you use the same SIM cards, it should be any problem. You just write it down and then you just replace the SIM cards. So if we change it, I save it to panel. You will see that there is that will be in a few seconds additional trouble. There is no SIM cards in here. Let's give him a few seconds. But this is all the configuration that is required for SIM cards to work. I will right now put a SIM card inside. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right. Okay. In a few moments, I will talk right now a little more, but in a few moments, in here on the right top corner, you will see information about that we are connected and the signal strength. So let's give him a few seconds. So additional options that it's good to configure if it's required, of course, for your GSM provider is SMS center number if you want to use SMS, but in general, panel should take this information from the SIM cards automatically, so it's not required to use it. But if you have some kind of issues with the sending SMS, please check if you have a proper SMS center in here. You can use USSD code from your mobile phone to be able to connect with the panel to send some kind of USSD configuration to GSM provider. So you can use it to, for example, check the credit amount on the panel on the card without removing the card. But also we support prepaid cards, so you can put like a number, like there is a star. Sorry, normally it starts with hash start or something like this, depending, of course, of your provider. And then you can set that credit minimum level of 5. Every single day, panel will try to connect and check by using this USSD, and then give you information back about the status. So if it's lower than 5, it will try to send you a SMS that you have low credits and please top up card. Quite simple and quite easy. Of course, this is only for prepaid cards, so yeah. Always there is some kind of on the webinars. Second, I will try to move a little bit antenna to the side. Okay, if this part is quite clear, let's go to the keypads. So in the keypad, depending what options you want to use, what I would advise for you to use, or then let's say talk a little bit about it. You have options: show partition 1, show partition 2, code entering, etc. I like to use quick arm options because it helps you and speed up the arming part. And I prefer to use key 7 for the troubles review. Rest of it, depending what you require. In general, this configuration, in this configuration, it should, depending how you prefer it. I also like to do something like this, so the troubles are quiet. I don't want to hear all the time that there is a trouble. I will see it on icon. I will have notification on my phone. I don't need to hear it, because when you go through the night with this beeping, this will be quite hard. So this is the options that I prefer to configure, nothing else. So I will save it to panel. Okay. For some reason right now, my module doesn't see the SIM card. Let's give him one more try. Maybe this one will be better. Let's come back to SIM cards again in a few seconds. So this is the configuration about how to add, how to configure it. So only a few options, nothing else. If you leave as the default is also fine. Okay, so if we are already in the keypads, let's add a wireless one. So I can go to one of the keypads. As you remember, all the keypads could be wired or wireless. So yeah, so how to add wireless one? I just pressed a plus button, so I go to any one of them. I go to plus button, and there is two possibilities. I can use serial number as out to put and read from the keypad, or if the installation is like there is no other Perfecta around this around the site, I can use auto and just wake up keypad. If it's waked up, it will try to transfer our data. Panel will find it out because auto, I don't need to fill serial number, and I'm ready to go. And this is how you add keypad. Right now, if I save this configuration to panel, so write it down. If I wake up keypad, I don't know if you will be able to see it. It's connecting, and I'm connected, and I can work with it. So if I press a password, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, star, as you see, I'm already in the menu, so keypad works fine. This is how fast you add keypad and any other device, to be honest. So it's quite fast and quite interesting. What I would add in here, of course, mark these two options because right now my keypads will be beeping all the time. But also with this, I have serial number, and I have options like filter, how long the keypad shouldn't be responding for panel to say that there is some kind of problem with the communication, but also wake up duration time. If it's 0, it means the keypad only wake up when you press a button on there. Any other case, it will be turned off. But if you press any kind of duration, like for example 20 seconds, it will wake up on when the system is disarmed, armed, so you have notification about the system that you have exit time or entry time. Please remember, if you are using wake up duration, keypad will wake up every second to check if there is some kind of communication for it, so the battery life will be shorter. And it's hard to describe how short, but yeah, it will be for sure shorter than if you use a 0. So if you have 2 or 3 wireless keypad like this, I would set wake up duration on the entrance keypad, like in the front of the main door. But the rest of the keypad, like garage or first floor, I will use no wake up time, so you won't have any notification from it until you press a button. And of course, you can set some kind of information when the system, when the keypad is trying to connect. And that's all. This is how you add and configure wireless keypad. I hope it's quite fast and quite easy for you to do it. Alrighty. So, of course, there's other options in here, like if you're adding additional modules, INTE, when you do identification, they will show up in here. This is about the hardware. Let's go then to partitions. In here, we describe what zone should react to. One second, my colleague said something about the SIM card. No, SIM card should be fitted in properly. Let's give him one more try. Okay, I think I know what was wrong. every single time when you go and try to do something on webinar or on training, for example, your antenna will disconnect or something like this. So give me 1 second. Okay. Let's try now. I think antenna was disconnected. Okay. Thanks, Bartek. So in the partition, you separate panel or describe how the panel should work and zones, how should they will be how to say it, virtual separation between them. So first of all, you can set partition 1, partition 2. Of course, the name in Polish is strefa, but partition 1, or for example, house. And of course, garage. So you can use it like this. And you can describe it, for example, zones 1 to 5 is house, but 6, 7, and 8 it's for the garage, etc. So you configure and assign zones to partitions. Also, you assign them to night and day arm. So if I do something like this, then in the night arm of partition 1, I will only zone 2, 3, and 4 will be working. Rest, you won't have any alarms. The same goes for the day arm. You have exit delay and all the configuration in here. In general, I just use the different assignment of the zones, but also change the name of the partitions because it's easier for the end user, and expand exit delay if it's required. That's all. And write it to panel. Nothing else to add. Okay. Still, my SIM card is not, for some reason, doesn't end. Okay, let's try one more time to put the SIM card. Okay, so next part, let's go to zones. In zones, you have all the names of the zones, assignment, the same as the previous options, type of wiring, so you are able to choose from no detector, so nothing connected, to NC, NO, etc. As you see, SIM card is right now working. Just problem with the putting up properly inside socket. Sorry guys, my fault. I have big hands. On the webinar is always something if you try to do something manual, at least. So in the configuration of the zones, what type of wiring you can use from NCNO, EOL, EOL, NCNO, roller and vibration types also are included there. You have sensitivity, so how long zone need to be triggered in some kind of status for the panel to trigger. So this is quite important, especially in the contacts. PIR doesn't matter, to be honest, in the contacts, and of course only wired ones. Wireless doesn't care about sensitivity. And then type of zone. And you have different types of zones. In general, you will use only few of them, but you have a little more possibilities. Normally, you will use entry exit and instant and 24 tamper. This is most common use. Entry exit, self-explanatory. This is the first detector which will see a user going in and going out. Instant, anything else, like every single other. And 24 tamper for the zones for the one zone to connect like a siren, wired siren, of course, or the tampers inside the enclosure. That's all. Rest of it, of course, if you want to use a fire or arm disarm and other stuff, yeah, you can use it, but in general, you will, on most common case, you will use only 4 of them. Sorry, or 3 of them. If you have entry exit or require some kind of time, you set how long should be, what time will be an entry time. And then you have all the configuration and additional options in here. Quite easy, I think, self-explanatory, but of course, we have also wireless detectors. So let's add a wireless detector. I will add it at the end to separate them. So zone 32, I just press plus button. I marked auto option, and I just open detector because already battery is already in there. I see transmission, and I already added detector. So yeah, adding detectors with auto is very, very fast, but very important is you can't have any other perfecta in the range detectors. So like you have, for example, if you have flats and all of them have a perfecta, first of one you can do with auto, rest of one you need to read a serial number inside, put it in here and read, because in many cases if there's a lot of communication in the air, auto will pick up detectors that are not, that you don't want to add. Quite simple. Okay, so if we have this one, so this is how you add new detector, and of course you configure it, for example, like an instant, or like a, for example, entry exit, because this is the contact. And this is, after it, you just save this information to panel, and we have working contact. I will just open it, zone 32, and you see I'm using this type of magnet because I have very close to me. If I put it in, zone stop working, zone is activated or violated. Quite easy and quite fast to add. I hope you add, you are agree with me. Okay, if we are already with the wireless detectors and we was talking about wireless keypad, we have additional function in PERFECTA. When you are connected by the cable and only by the cable, remote access is sadly, you won't be able to do it. If you press on the RF on the bottom, you will see information what radio hears right now. In here, I have very nice background, almost nothing in there, so everything is nice. So if I take the magnet from the contact, there is some kind of transmission, and you see there is a few pics about the status of this detector, and I close it, and you see a few pics. So this is information that contact send the information there. Of course, you could see a few other information because it's able to see anything as the communication. I can also take the keypad, keypad, and you will see a lot of communication right now from the keypad. And the signal strength is very, very nice. Yeah, because panel is very close to me right now, but you see that this keypad right now is transmitting all the information back and forth with the panel. So it's working properly. In a few seconds, it's already dark, so it should go back to normal. Yeah, as you see in here. So this is, you can check how the detectors are working, but also if the background, so the lower part of the of this window is like very close to the peaks, so a lot of noise, you could have some kind of issues on site with the wireless. So, but you are able to diagnose it. In a few cases, what I find from my experience is that if you do it, if you see that there is a lot of noise, go to the fuse box, turn everything off, and check again if it's still high or it's go down. And then turn on the main one and just switch one by one and check when the noise again goes out. In my case, I have 2 times when the routers, let's say the chip routers, had put a lot of interference on this frequency, and the solution was to change the router, and was happy to solve this issue with at least with the noise. But something to bear in mind, in Perfecta Soft, you have a very nifty tool to check what is happening on site with the RF frequency on 433 to solve many issues that you could approach there. Very nice tool, I need to say. And of course, if we want to see the wireless signal levels, so you open it and you see the Perfecta LCD 81% and my contact 96%. Yeah, so we have all the information here. So next part will be outputs. We have not too much time. We need to fit in as much as possible to squeeze it a little bit. So outputs, 4 outputs on board. So right now they are as default set as external siren for 5 minutes, and what zone will trigger them. Quite easy, quite fast, and quite simple. Of course, you can change how the output will work, depending how you prefer. If you add additional output expander, you will see that you have additional 8 outputs. And of course, wireless siren, you are adding exactly the same as the keypads or detectors by pressing plus button and triggering device. That's all. Quite simple and quite easy. And then you configure what type of signaling. It should be acoustic and optic, and type of sounds you have also possibility to choose from. Quite simple. Functions. In functions, you will find everything else like configuration of the other parts like communication. So you will see Perfecta version, you have IME, you have Perfecta key that I described, and ID. But also, if you want to use a communication via SATEL server, you just need to mark these 3 options. So Perfecta control, Perfecta soft connection, and push notification, and save it to panel. So right now, I'm able to use a mobile application to be able to connect with this panel quite fast. I will show it at the end of this webinar. Okay, so this is option that I will, as almost default, mark. Next part is messaging. If you want to use some kind of SMS or audio messaging, you just need to put some kind of telephone number, mark SMS, and in SMS messaging, you need to please remember check this option in here and set that telephone number should receive events from partition 1 and 2 about alarms, troubles, and system events, for example. And of course, if we have telephone 2, I can set the partition 1 and 2 alarms, troubles, etc. In many cases, I use my own telephone number in here as the telephone 8 as the service. And for example, I just use this 2 or even just troubles from partition 1 and 2. What this gives me is that I receive SMS as the last one, but exactly the same SMS as the end user about the troubles in the system. I don't care about the alarms because I don't need it, but I receive information, for example, about the status of the batteries, like low batteries, lost communication, etc. in here. So I have still some kind of information going back to me, at least if I want to use SMS. Of course, you can do the same as the push notification. And the text inside the SMS will look almost exactly the same as information in the event log. So if you name your users and you name your partition and you name your zones, you will receive information alarm from PIR kitchen or armed by Thomas or partition house, etc., etc. So you have full information. Especially this is important is that you don't need to put this all information in there. I see. Okay, some kind of versions. In my case, yeah, there are the names, etc. So you will be ready to go to use this option. So you don't need to fill the text. And second of all, you have full configuration and full information inside the SMS. Okay, if you want audio, you need to, of course, mark audio in here and go to audio messaging. Again, you need to mark this option. And before we go there, I will create some kind of audio message. I'm not sure if you will be able to hear it via our webinar, but I can put some kind of information in here. Sometimes I will to expand the message. I will increase it and make it like 3-4 times just to make it longer. This will give me a little more time to be able to listen, because there is many users that press a green button, try to very slowly pick up the phone to his ear, and like if you put adjust alarm, it will be too short and panel will send this information too fast. So if we have longer information, I go to text to speech, press this button. I need to choose what type of text-to-speech engine I want to use. This is the text-to-speech engine from the Windows. If you have something, if you install different text-to-speech engine inside the Windows, you will see it on the list. If I choose it already, I press the button. Kitchen. Okay, more or less. I don't know if you heard it. I hope so. But if it's all properly changed to voice, to sound, you will see duration, and then you just press a button in here, write audio message to panel, and it will send this information to panel. Of course, you can use a WAV or MP3 file. If you love your voice and you want to your end user know your voice very well, then you can use your WAV sound or MP3, so you can use it as you like. Okay, of course you can also repeat twice, and then if you have already some kind of message created, you can go to audio message, and for example, not arming, let's say, but let's go for the alarms, and I can choose message 1. Right now, if there is an alarm in partition 1, you will receive on the telephone 1, message 1, alarm in kitchen, alarm in kitchen, alarm in kitchen. Simple, quite easy, quite fast. And of course, you can configure like AC loss or battery trouble, etc., depending as you like. You have up to 16 different messages, and maximum amount of time is 131 seconds. So yeah. Okay. This one is quite clear, I think. There's additional options if you want to use listen in. So if you want to, for example, call the panel and listen what is happening from the microphone, you mark these options. Or if you want to use SMS forwarding, so if the panel receives some kind of SMS that it's not control, like control outputs, arm, disarm, etc., some kind of different one, then it will send it to this telephone number. Please remember that in 99% of this type of SMS is some kind of marketing stuff, and the 1% is most important. And yeah, but still, you will need to take this in consideration. About the SMS control, so you can send SMS to the panel. So if you write some kind of password like Like I like dogs, I can set that I want to, for example, ARM partition 1 full. So if in the SMS there is this message, I like dog, I can't put S in there, not in too many signs. Then you have you can assign faction. So if someone use this type of message, then partition 1 will ARM. Why I use some kind of message, not like ARM, disarm, alarm, etc., because it's too easy to find it out. Quite simple. Please try to remember this is still a password. Of course, if you don't mark any telephone number, this SMS will be only triggered, or this function will be triggered if it's from one of these telephone numbers. So from one of the users or telephone numbers that you describe in here. But if you want that anyone can send it, just mark this option and it will receive information and control this function, or trigger this function from any telephone number. You have up to 16 this type of messages. Timers, if you want to use some kind of timer like ARM at 7 and disarm like 6 on Monday, and ARM for full ARM, it means that it will arm the system on Monday at 5 p.m. and disarm at 6 a.m. So you can configure it. And you have 4 exceptions in here with the dates. And you have 8 different timers. You can firmware update, so you can use remote update for the firmware, and you can start it by sending SMS. Okay, about the users, you have up to 15 users. 16 user is service, is always there, and 15th user is in here. So for user to be working, you need to put a type of schedule or type of user, like normal, and then you need to assign partition and put some kind of code. If one of these are not there, this user won't work. So in the users, you can describe what type of users you are using and the privileges, and of course, key fobs. Every user can have one key fob. You add in key fobs by pressing this plus button, and again, the same as you use with the detectors and keypads. You just press a button and you are ready to go. And then you assign what button do what. So if you want to arm, and for example, disarm and clear alarm, this is how you do it. So it should be quite easy and quite fast to configure it. Okay. And the last part in Perfecta soft is event log. So you have all the information about the status of the system. And of course, you can use a filter just to show for us only alarms. I press all. Okay. So I have only information about the alarms in the system. Okay. Alrighty, guys. So this part we have, I think, covered. I tried to speed it up as much as possible. I showed you a few options how to configure and what you wanted to use. So one more thing, what I wanted to show you is how to add Perfecta control. This is quite fast. You go to project. As we talked about previously, IME and ID is here. So I use a QR code, press some kind of simple password in here. In my case, it's 12121212. Then you go to your telephone. I will try to show this to you. I start Perfecta control. I hope you see it. On the right, on the left top corner, I go in here, add new device. I'm not sure if you see it properly. I will do something like this. Okay. I'm not sure if you see it properly. Yeah. In the left top corner, I use a QR code, scan QR code from my screen, and put password that I describe on the QR code. This is very easy password for me. I don't remember how many of them it's, I think 10. Do it properly. No, 4 of them. I need to do it one more time. Give 1 second. Please bear with me. So if I use QR code, all the data is populated. I just put on my password and press next. I can describe what type of notification I want to receive. So for me, will be arms and diagnostics or troubles done. And then webinar perfect I have at the bottom. I can press it and I will be able to connect it. I hope in a few seconds. I didn't test it. Yeah. Please remember that first connection will be a little bit longer because it needs to download all the information from the device, like names of the zones, name of the partitions, etc., and event log. So yeah, but I'm already connected. I have one partition. I can press this partition, and in left top corner, for example, I can arm the partition. Oh, wrong button. I mark it and press the icon on top, and I have types of arms. So with exit delay and no exit delay. I use no exit delay and partition, and there is some kind of troubles. Okay, I know about it. Force arming, and right now I arm the system. I can show you. You see the icon on the left side with the information that there is some kind of that there is this partition is armed. But also, if we go back to our Perfecta, in the system status, you see the house is right now armed. And this is how you add object to Perfecta control. And that's all. Really, it's that simple. Okay, guys, we don't have too much time. I will ask Bartek to give me like 3 interesting questions, and yeah, and I will try to answer them, and then we end this. This webinar. Let's give me a few seconds because it's quite too long. Okay, 3, not too many. Yeah, if you want to confirm the confirmation of the arming disarming, if you go to outputs on the siren, in here in the options you have arm disarm clearing signal. I hope you see it. So right now you will have information about arm disarm, like 1 beep, 2 beeps, and 7 beeps about the system. This was quite fast and easy. So in outputs. Okay, next questions. Yes, key fobs. Yes, of course. In the key fobs, you have a possibility to choose from different types, like ARM partition 1, ARM partition 2, but also ARM partition 1 and 2 full ARM and disarm full ARM. You have quite a lot of possibilities in here about the options. I just wanted to know, because we don't have too much time, it's already too long, just a few information, but in here you have full list of what you can do from the key fob. Okay, and next one, the last one, guys. You can send SMS to control something. Can we do the same thing with one call? Rings will close. No, you can't use a clip in this case. So there is no functionality of the clip inside Perfecta that you call it and it will trigger out. Okay, guys, we need to end because there is another webinar soon. Exactly as my colleague said, if you have any questions, please go for info.satel.eu. My colleague, yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah. Info.satel.eu. You can always ask question there, raise a ticket. Sorry, but we need to end it right now because there is another webinar in French in this case. Guys, also in the email after this webinar, you receive information. There is also a link in there in the right bottom corner, as I remember, to go to every hour webinar from the Click meeting. So you always can go there and see what is the next few webinars that we are planning in the near future. Guys, thank you very much for your attendance. I hope this this was helpful for you, and all explanation about the Perfecta configuration I was able to cover in 1 hour. But the installation and configuration is really faster than this. It's like 5 to 10 minutes about the options that we described. So guys, thank you very much again for the attendance and that you join us. Thank you, Bartosz and Jacek, for helping me with the chat. As always, this was a pleasure for me, and please stay tuned for the next webinar. Yeah, thanks guys, cheers, and be safe. Thank you.